I am so excited about this interview. It's with champion Cowboy Mounted Shooter Kenda Lenseigne. We're talking fast horses, shooting at targets, and one fierce competitor. Okay, Kenda, thanks so much. I know you're giving a clinic today. Thanks for your time.
Thank you for having me.
Now, you've been riding since you were a baby, and you've been riding English and Western. How did this start for you?
Well, growing up, of course, on the back of a horse, riding English and Western, it was just kind of natural for me to segue into a new sport, to try something different. I saw this great new sport at the time. It was 14 years ago at a little Western festival in San Bernardino, and I was invited to come out to watch. And I mean, before I knew it, before the day was over, I was on the back of a horse shooting a gun in front of a crowd. So it was just, you know, it's adrenaline. It's the best thing you can possibly do on the back of a horse, in my opinion.
Well, I mean, you're a natural, because I read on your bio that you're just starting this sport and you are a winner, an overall champion. I mean, are you a natural? Did it come easy?
The horse part of it, you know, the horsemanship side of things, of course, that was an easy segue into it. The gun handling, not so much, but you know, it's a mechanical tool. So once you learn how to use it, it's not as difficult as say learning how to ride and shoot at the same time.
Now, a lot of people may not be familiar with this sport, and it is a growing riding discipline. What's it all about? What are you doing?
It's a timed event where a rider will have 2 guns. They shoot 10 targets. There's 5 rounds of ammunition in each gun. It's blank ammunition, which means we can do this in front of a spectator environment. The rounds are certified to travel no more than 20 feet. And it's a black powder charge that's inside the cartridge. So it's the burning powder that breaks the target. Our scoring is elapsed time plus penalties, which are missed targets, 5 seconds per target, or barrel knocked over. So you have to be really accurate if you want to stay on top.
And really fast. I heard you were talking to your students today, and one of the things that you'd mentioned was you wear earplugs so that you can zone out. And I really thought that was good, because in any riding discipline, that's a good tip.
I think it is. You know, in any competition, whether you're riding, shooting, playing basketball, you know, to be able to stay focused through the end is a big part of competition. Once you've got your mechanics down, the riding and shooting, then creeps in the mental side of competition, and to stay focused through the end becomes quite a challenge for most. Just it's human nature for us to start having doubts and letting the adrenaline take over and, you know, play mind games with ourselves.
Right. Now, let's talk about the horses. What kind of horses? Obviously, they are hugely important.
They are. The great thing about our sport is it's open to all breeds, and there are people actually that do ride mules also. So, you know, all breeds of horses and mules, but if you look at, statistically speaking, the top cream of the crop are mostly quarter horses.
And how do you acclimate them toward the balloons that you're shooting at and the gunshots?
Like training with everything with a horse, it's about starting slow and small. So, you know, the worst thing you could possibly do is just get on and start firing off their back, because they don't understand it. And then you spend a year making amends. So starting slow, whether you have a child's cap gun or maybe a 22 round or a half load or something like that, just start out really slow, take your time so that the horse learns to understand it, and once they build confidence in it, then away you go.
Well, we can't talk about horses without talking about your horse, Justin, and he really has a special story, right?
He does. He's the highlight of my life. He's a good pony.
But he didn't start that way, did he?
No, we had our battles, that's for sure. I bought him from just a girl who was a trail rider, but you know, he's bred well and he's got such natural ability. He's built to run, built for this sport. So I started him on gunfire, and it was a battle every day for quite some time. He was pretty much convinced that I was out to kill him. But you know, like all great horses, you know, once you break through that challenge, then they give you that same 110% that they had in their fight is what they give you in heart later on. So he and I we're a team.
Now, do you have other horses as backup? Because, of course, you know, he could get injured. I mean, knock on wood, that doesn't happen, but just so you're constantly training other horses too?
I am. I have 4 right now. Of course, I've just done, and then I have a few up-and-comers that hopefully will make the cut, and if not, I'm always in search for my next Justin.
Good. Now, I also heard that you are developing some product. You've got some sponsors, and I would love to hear more about that.
The great part of our sport, it's grown so much in the last decade and a half that it's really created a career for me personally, you know, as a professional horsewoman and entrepreneur and businesswoman.
Now, if someone's watching this and says, hey, I want to try it, how do they get started?
Depending on your location, you can go to a variety of different mounted shooting websites and find a local club in your area or a local trainer and just get plugged in. The greatest thing about this sport is you can show up at a shoot and be welcomed. There's not a person that you can run into that will not help you get started. It's like a sickness we all have, and we're all addicts, and we want others to join in on it.
That's great to hear. Kenda, tell us where your website is. What is your website?
My website is kendalenseigne.com.
Great. Thank you so much for your time. I know you've got some students there anxiously waiting for more tips.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.